Remember Gillian McKeith? She said, "You are what you eat," and had a successful TV show in the noughties examining people's poo and telling them what to eat and what not to eat. And while I wasn't a fan of her or the show, it turns out she was probably ahead of the curve and was onto something. This is not a new idea though. Hippocrates, the Greek physician, considered to be the father of medicine, reportedly believed that all disease begins in the gut. He is also attributed with the idea that nutrition is one of the tools that a doctor should use to treat illness. Research has taken this idea of what we eat somehow influencing who we are and shown that what we eat, and more specifically how healthy our gut biome is, affects our emotions, and therefore, because our emotions affect how we think, how we feel psychologically. Your brain and gut are directly connected, along with all other major organs, by the vagus nerve. The brain uses information from the gut sent through the vagus nerve to figure out how things are going. Julia Enders likens it to reception at the company office, receiving calls from workers in the field updating on their status. If things aren't going well in the field, it has an impact at head office. So if things aren't going good in the gut, then this has an impact on our emotions and therefore how we feel. Research shows that your gut biome, the bacteria in your intestines, is instrumental in gut health and has an impact on your mood and mental health to such an extent that some refer to your gut as the second brain. We even have phrases that lead me to believe intuitively that this is right. I had a gut feeling. What is your gut telling you to do? I don't know, it was just a gut reaction. In fact, in her wonderful book, Gut, Julia Enders suggests our idea of self, of who we are, is constructed by the brain drawing on information and feelings from every part of the body. This brings the impact of physical feelings into the creation of self. Surely you've spotted when your toilet habits are not good, or you've overindulged, you feel lousy, sluggish and not motivated. This impacts on how you feel, and maybe who you are. Your gut has a significant impact on your brain. Anderson and Yeo have explored how our gut biome health affects our emotions through the brain-gut axis. This is important as our emotions affect how we think and therefore how we feel psychologically, and therefore how productive we are. Enders also points out that about 80% of our immune system is located in the gut. How diverse the microbes are in your gut directly affects our mood and our ability to fight disease. Cryan and Dinnan report growing evidence that your microbiome influences your susceptibility to anxiety and depression. Cryan repeated a Japanese experiment on sterile mice. These are mice bred with no microbiome. Yes, such things exist in the laboratory. He showed, as the previous researchers had, that the gut biome had the power to affect mood. In the initial sterile state, the mice showed symptoms of low mood and a stress response. They colonized the mice with good gut bacteria and found their mood improved and their stress response diminished, evidence that the microbiome relieved stress. An unhealthy diet can also reduce the sensation of feeling full, which can lead to overeating. I know what I eat and drink influences how I feel. If I drink too much coffee, I get that caffeine slump. If I have too much to eat at lunchtime, I have a sluggish, lethargic feeling all afternoon. Equally, if I'm hungry, I find it hard to focus. While the scientific research into the relationship between food, the gut, and mental well-being is in the relatively early stages, we generally recognize intuitively that what we eat and drink can influence how we feel, think, and behave. The growing evidence supports this feeling and shows a direct link from our food and drink choices to an impact in these areas, and therefore how productive we are at home and at work. When I'm in a good mood, I eat to celebrate. Behaviour. This makes me feel good. But then I start to feel disappointed in myself. Think. Because of that fact, I've just eaten unhealthily. This makes me feel low. Feel. And to help myself feel better, I eat. Behaviour. There are other examples. For some, drinking alcohol. Drink leads to snacking. Eat, which leads to how you think and feel. Guilty maybe, which influences your behaviour. Feel demotivated, so you have another beer and more snacks. You will certainly have your own experiences of these links, I'm sure. Stress is often an underlying factor that leads us to reach for high-calorie foods. This is because when feeling stressed or anxious, our bodies release high levels of cortisol. As we've discussed in other chapters, cortisol is a stress hormone that leads to our primitive fight or flight response in the face of danger. Specifically, in relation to nutrition, it increases insulin levels in the body, leading to a drop in blood sugar, which is why you end up craving sugary, high-fat foods. This is the body's way of getting you to eat high-calorie food to increase the body's fuel reserves in order to manage the impending surge of energy it is expecting in terms of needing to run from a dangerous situation, flight, or stand and face the danger head-on, fight. But we need to get it right because good nutrition is not just for our physical health, but also for our mental and emotional health, and it can help manage our stress and aid our productivity. In my latest book, How to Thrive at Work, Mindfulness, Motivation and Productivity, I explore some of the problems associated with the impact of nutrition and also look at the cyclical relationships between stress and dehydration.